Here are 5 lesser-known World War I facts. At least 3 times during World War I, opposing soldiers from both sides laid down their weapons and engaged in massive game of football, soccer to the non-Brits. The first instance was on Christmas Day 1914. A group of British and German players organized a game near Ypres in Belgium. The game ended in a 3-3 draw. There was even a rematch the following year on Boxing Day, which the Germans won 4-2. Allied leaders had planned to invade and occupy the city of Constantinople, now Istanbul, in the Ottoman Empire. They believed that controlling the capital would encourage the Ottomans to leave the war and potentially open up a new front against Russia. However, the plan was canceled after the disastrous Dardanelles campaign, which resulted in hundreds of thousands of casualties with no real strategic gain. This is documented in the book The Dardanelles by historian Hugh Strachan. The last official widow of World War I, Helen Viola, died in 2020. Helen was the wife of Private Joseph Viola, who died in 1917 at the Battle of Passchendaele. When he enlisted, he promised his fiancée that he would return to her if he survived the war. So when he didn't come back, she never accepted any other proposals. This is documented in a news article published by The Guardian. After the sinking of the Lusitania, an ocean liner with 128 Americans on board, the U.S. entered the war immediately. Well, not exactly. Although the sinking of the Lusitania in 1915 by a German U-boat outraged the American public and contributed to the eventual U.S. entry into World War I, it wasn't the sole or even primary cause. In fact, the U.S. remained officially neutral for almost 3 more years after the sinking. This is documented in a book called America's Road to World War I by historian David A. Wells. Sometime during the First World War, somewhere in France, a young Jewish soldier named David fought and killed an enemy soldier, a German. Shocked by what he'd done, he approached the dead man's body and began to cry. Moments later, another French soldier arrived on the scene and, seeing David's actions, assumed he must be a padre, a religious figure of some kind. And so the young Jewish soldier was forced to don a makeshift set of robes and spend the night comforting a German family who came to collect their dead son's body. This story is documented in a book called The Sacred Duty by historian Paul Fussell. For more interesting history, stay tuned.